Nobody cares. These are not words meant to wound, but to awaken. Not a curse, but a key. For most, this phrase stings. It sounds cold, dismissive, heartless. The Stoic does not recoil from the sting. The Stoic listens, and beneath the sting, they find steel. How much of your suffering is not from the event itself, but from the longing for someone to witness it? To validate your pain? To say, yes, I see you? You're right. They were wrong. But life is indifferent. Universe offers no applause for your efforts. Your neighbor is lost in their own mind. Your colleagues barely notice your quiet persistence. Even your friends, well-meaning as they may be, cannot walk your path for you. And this is your liberation. The Stoics knew that the world would not rearrange itself to soothe your wounds. No one owed you recognition, praise, or understanding. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, it was once said, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This is not resignation. It is resistance, refined. It is self-reliance. It's distilled. When you accept that nobody truly cares, at least not in the way you expect, you unshackle yourself from the tyranny of external validation. You no longer write the story of your life hoping someone else will read it. You write because the act of writing is enough. You live not to be watched, but to be awake. There is great power in being ignored. You are free to rise or fall without commentary. You are free to become dangerous in silence. You're free to fail privately and grow quietly. The tree does not beg for attention as it stretches toward the light, just grows. But the ego protests. Surely someone should care. And perhaps someone does, but caring is not curing. No one can suffer your burdens. No one can think your thoughts. No one can do your push-ups for you. You are a singular event in time, a breath that will not be repeated. And therefore, your life demands focus, not for them, but for you. What? It happens when you stop expecting applause. Wait. When you stop waiting to be seen, when you stop trying to make your pain legible to people who don't speak your language, you become efficient. You become light. You become sovereign. This is the Stoic posture, to face the world without the crutch of complaint, to act justly, speak honestly, endure bravely, whether or not anyone notices, especially when no one notices. Do not misinterpret. The Stoic does not become a recluse. He still engages. He still loves. But he loves without clinging. He gives without begging to be thanked. He serves without branding himself a savior. He knows that whatever he offers to the world, he does so freely and therefore is owed nothing. In return, so yes, nobody cares. Now what? Now you build. Now you work. Now you wake up before dawn, not for them, but for yourself. You sharpen your mind, discipline your habits, protect your peace, not because someone will applaud, but because this is what it means to live well. You will be misunderstood. You will be overlooked. You will be doubted. Let it happen. Let them sleep on you. You are not here to be approved. You are here to be awake, to take the reins of your inner life and ride through the chaos of the world without flinching. Focus on your life. Focus on the controllables. Focus on your effort, your perception, your attitude. Focus not because others are watching, but because you are. You are the one who must live with your choices. You are the one who carries the consequences. In the end, when you sit in silence with the sum total of your days, it will not matter who cared. It will only matter what you did with the time. This is where your power begins. The moment you stop asking for sympathy and start seeking strength, the moment you stop explaining yourself and start disciplining yourself, the moment you stop waiting to be rescued and begin becoming the one who does not need rescuing, nobody cares. Focus on your life. Imagine living your entire life chasing approval from family, from friends, from strangers whose names you'll never know. Every decision shaped by how it might be received. Every risk measured not by internal growth, but by external applause. And imagine that, after all that effort, you receive it, the applause, the praise, the respect, and still doesn't fill the void. Because here's the truth. Applause fades. Recognition wanes. Even statues crumble. So who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when the audience leaves the room? That is the only scoreboard that matters. The inner one. The one you cannot lie to. The Stoics understood this deeply. It is not the man who has too little, it was once written, but the man who craves more, who is poor. You can be wealthy in reputation and bankrupt. In spirit, you can be famous and fragile. You can be surrounded by love, yet utterly alone. Because peace does not come from what others think of you. It comes from who you decide to be. And this is not a passive decision. It is a war. A daily, hourly war against distraction, against comparison, against weakness, against the seductive. Lie that your worth is determined by other people's attention spans. Focus on your effort. Focus on what you control. Focus on that sacred space between stimulus and response where all your power resides. You do not control how others react. You control your reason, your discipline, your actions. And when you start measuring yourself by that inner standard, everything changes. Criticism loses its sting. Praise loses its seduction. You become unmoved, not because you don't feel, but because you are anchored in something deeper. Think of the archer. He draws his bow with care, aims with precision, breathes with calm. But once the arrow leaves his hand, its path is no longer his concern. The wind, the distance, the target's movement, all beyond him. So he returns his focus to the draw, to the breath, to the form. So must you. You do not chase applause. You master your draw. You do not manipulate reactions. You govern your choices. You live well, not to impress, but to embody virtue. The inner scoreboard never lies. It knows whether you lived up to your values, whether you resisted the temptation, whether you said what needed to be said, whether you kept your word when no one would have noticed if you hadn't. The Stoics knew, if you can win that silent war within, the outer world cannot touch you. So let the world misunderstand you. Let them misjudge you. Let them gossip, dismiss. Forget, your peace is not found in being known. It's found in being real, authentic to the core, disciplined at your root, humble before truth. This is not indifference. This is invincibility. You do not need the crowd's cheers to confirm your path. You walk it with eyes open and chin steady, knowing that the path itself is its own reward. Nobody cares. Focus on your life and measure it not by noise, but by quiet consistency. Not by flashes, but by fire. Not by recognition, but by the relentless pursuit of what is right. You are told life should be fair, that hard work would always be rewarded, that good people would win, that effort guarantees outcome. But look around. Does the world obey this myth? The Stoics never entertained such illusions. They saw life, not through the lens of how it should be, but through the piercing clarity of how it is. Fairness in the worldly sense is a story we whispered to children. Reality, however, is ungoverned by our preferences. The rain falls on the just and unjust. Alike, the dishonest often prosper. The lazy sometimes win. The cruel rise to power, and the kind are forgotten. But none of this should discourage you, unless your life's foundation is built on the approval of others and the outcomes you do not control. Ask yourself, who suffers more, the man who expects justice from the world or the one who expects resistance, randomness, and rejection, and still commits to virtue? Your desire for fairness may be sincere, but it is a form of attachment. An attachment to control, an attachment to narrative. An attachment is the root of suffering. The Stoics knew this. If you are distressed by anything external, one wrote, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When you demand fairness, you place your peace at the mercy of events beyond your command. But when you commit to justice, regardless of result, you take back that power. You shift your focus inward to your principles, your endurance, your choices. Should you fight against injustice, of course. But not because you expect the world to reward you. You fight because it is right. You act with courage, not because you are promised victory, because cowardice is beneath you. This is the hard truth. You may do everything right and still lose. You may love and be betrayed. You may serve and be forgotten. You may give and be taken advantage of. But none of that diminishes the integrity of your choices unless you allow it to. The Stoic does not say, "Why me?" He says, "Why?" Not me? He does not say, "This is unfair." He says, "This is life." And in that brutal clarity, he finds peace. Not because life is easy, but because he no longer expects it to be. You are not a victim of unfairness. You are a participant. In a universe that does not explain itself, you can resist that truth, or you can rise with it. And rising means surrendering the need to be treated according to your script. It means releasing bitterness. It means refusing to tally every injustice. It means showing up fully, whether or not it's appreciated, whether or not it's reciprocated. Focus on your work, not the reward. You focus on your integrity, not the applause. You focus on the path, not the prize. You let go of the illusion that the world owes you balance, and in doing so, you become balanced. This is not weakness. This is strength. The kind of strength that cannot be negotiated, cannot be bought, cannot be broken. The kind of strength that wakes up each morning and says, "I will do what I must. I will give what I can. I will stand tall, not because life is fair, but because I am." Let others chase justice in the stars. You build it within. Let others rage at the storm. You become the lighthouse. Let others retreat into resentment. You move forward with dignity. The world may never be fair. You can be, and that is enough. Ease is seductive. It calls to you in whispers. Take the shortcut. Avoid discomfort. Seek the soft path. But what has ease ever taught you? What has comfort ever forged? The Stoics trained for difficulty. They did not merely endure hardship, they chose it. They practiced poverty, fasted deliberately, walked barefoot in the cold, slept without blankets. Not because they were ascetics, because they understood something that the modern world has forgotten. Comfort makes cowards. Softness dulls the soul. He who has never been hungry cannot appreciate food. He who has never been rejected cannot cultivate resilience. He who has never been alone cannot develop inner clarity. And he who avoids suffering at all costs becomes its most helpless victim. You are not here to glide through life. You are here to sharpen your edge. You are here to develop strength so deep that no external storm can touch it, but strength cannot be downloaded. It must be earned through repetition, resistance, and refusal to quit. Difficulties strengthen the mind, a Stoic once said, as labor does the body. So why do you flee from the very thing that makes you powerful? Voluntary. Hardship is a choice. It is not imposed by life. It is initiated by you. You fast not because there's no food, but to master your hunger. You rise early, not because you are forced, but to master your time. You train your mind not because it is broken, but because it is capable of more. And in this discipline, you reclaim your authority. You stop being a passenger and become the pilot. You cease reacting and begin commanding. This is not about punishment. It is about preparation. Life will bring suffering. That is inevitable. But when you have rehearsed discomfort, when you have made hardship familiar, then when chaos arrives, it finds you already standing, calm, ready, unmoved. The world fears pain. But the Stoic walks toward it, not recklessly, but courageously. He does not pray for lighter burdens, prays for broader shoulders. And here lies your daily invitation. Where can you lean into discomfort? Where are you still hiding in the warm corners of life, avoiding the necessary friction? What softness are you clinging to, hoping life won't notice? You do not grow in safety. You do not evolve by accident. You choose your pain, or your pain chooses you. So make your bed in the cold. Wake before the world. Speak the hard truth. Take the high road, even when it's lonely. Let others indulge, you invest. Let others coast, you climb. And in time, the strength you build will not be loud. It will not be flashy. It will be silent, steady, unshakable. It will be the kind of strength that others sense, but cannot name. the kind that speaks without words. This is the paradox of Stoicism, that through voluntary suffering we find peace, that through choosing the hard way we make life easier, that by dying to comfort we are reborn into freedom. So seek the fire. Don't wait for life to toughen you. Toughen yourself. And when the real trials come, and they will, smile not because they're easy, but because you are ready. How much of your suffering is tied not to your effort, but to your expectations? You work and expect success. You love and expect reciprocation. You speak truth and expect agreement. But the world does not dance to your rhythm. It never has. And the Stoic knows, to live in peace you must detach from results. This is not surrender. It is control of the only thing that can ever truly be yours, your mind. You can pour yourself into the task and give every drop of your will, every ounce of your strength. But the outcome, that belongs to the wind, to the timing. Fortune, the Stoics called it fate, the turning wheel of events beyond human control. And they trained themselves not to fear it, not to curse it, but to cooperate with it. Do what you must, they said. Let the rest go. You've been taught to chase outcomes like they're the proof of your worth. You believe success validates you and failure exposes you. But what if both are lies? What if success says nothing about your soul and failure cannot touch your integrity? You are not what happens to you. You are how you respond to it. And this means your power is far greater than you imagined. Let go of the scoreboard. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the story in your head about how life was supposed to unfold. Those are prisons dressed as plans. The moment you release them, you can finally act with freedom. Do not measure your progress by external signs. Measure it by your commitment to the process. Did you wake up early? Did you practice discipline? Did you speak truth when it was hard? Then you are winning, even if no one sees it, even if nothing changes. Because something has changed. You, your mind, your posture, your resolve. Detach from outcomes, not because you don't care, but because you care too much to let uncontrollable things rule you. The Stoics reminded themselves daily, you do not control whether the seed grows, it's only whether you plant it. You do not control if the world rewards your virtue, only whether you choose virtue at all. Think of the sculptor. He chisels every day, not because he knows exactly when the form will emerge, but because the act of chiseling shapes him too. He becomes stronger, steadier, more focused. And even if the stone cracks or the world never sees the beauty, the sculptor knows what he has done. So must you. Detach, not from effort. It's not from values, but from clinging to results. This world is chaos dressed in patterns. A game with rules that bend and break, okay? A place where sometimes the best fail and the worst succeed. And that's not a flaw, it's reality. You cannot master life. You can only master yourself. So pour your soul into your work and let it. Go love fiercely and accept what comes. Train your body, your mind, your speech, and then release the outcome like a leaf to the river. You do not plant seeds for applause. You plant them because it is your nature to cultivate. Do not resist temptation for praise. You do it because it is your path to freedom. Let go of the illusion that you are owed anything. You owe yourself effort. That is all. And once you live from this place, you will discover something radical. Peace. A calm that cannot be shaken by loss or inflated by gain. Stillness so deep that noise no longer reaches it. The Stoic way is not the way of detachment from life. It is the way of full participation without dependence. Let the world reward or ignore you. Let events rise or fall. Let fortune smile or turn away. You remain steady because your compass is internal, because your reward is the life you live, not the results you collect. Focus not on outcomes. Focus on your life. The mind is a battlefield. An emotion untrained, undisciplined, unaware is the enemy disguised as a friend. Anger, fear, envy, pride, they come dressed in urgency, promising clarity. But their only gift is chaos. The Stoic is not without. emotion. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. He observes, examines, delays. He allows the emotion to rise and then questions it. You feel insulted? Why? What was truly damaged? Your pride, your ego? Are those sacred or merely habits of thought? You feel fear, but of what? Of death, of pain, of loss. These are the very teachers of perspective. They do not shrink the soul. They show it its true size. Emotions are weather, not real, but not permanent. And just as the sailor learns not to panic at the storm, so must you learn not to flinch at the surge within. To be angry is to be punished by your own mind for the faults of another. How many times have you suffered twice, first from the event and second from your reaction to it? The Stoic does not suppress his emotions. He studies them. He sits with them. He dissects them like a surgeon. What caused this? Is hidden beneath it? What story am I telling myself that allows this emotion to thrive? And often, he finds the emotion is lying. Anger tells you that control will restore order, but it only spreads the fire. Fear tells you that safety is found in withdrawal, but it only isolates you. Envy tells you that someone else's gain is your loss, but it only poisons gratitude. So the Stoic practices awareness. He inserts space between trigger and response. He breathes. He delays judgment. He welcomes the first impulse and denies it the throne. This takes discipline. It takes daily vigilance. But the reward is immense. Peace that cannot be stolen. Dignity that cannot be baited. Mastering your emotions does not mean becoming robotic. It means becoming sovereign. It means recognizing the difference between a wave and a tsunami, between a thought and a truth, between stimulus and surrender. You are not your feelings. You are the one who notices the feelings, the observer, the chooser. And in that space, that sacred pause, you reclaim your authority. You decide whether to speak or remain silent, whether to fight or yield, whether to act or let go. This is power. Not the power to dominate others, but to govern yourself. And if you can do that, if you can face anger with composure, fear with clarity, joy with humility, then no one can touch you. The world will try, will insult, tempt, confuse, but the Stoic does not flinch. His reactions are not puppets, tied to strings of circumstance. Are deliberate, earned, grounded. So when emotion rises, don't run, don't indulge. Just look, ask, wait, and then respond. Not as a slave, but as a sovereign. Emotions will visit. Let them. Just don't. Hand them the keys to your house. There will be no ceremony, no standing ovation. There's no fanfare when you make the hard choice. No applause when you resist temptation. No one will throw flowers at your feet when you keep your word. When you stay silent instead of shouting, when you choose the lonely principled road instead of the well-lit path of popularity, you will likely be ignored, maybe even mocked, maybe passed over, maybe forgotten. But that is the way of the Stoic, to do what is right. It's not what is recognized. In the modern world, silence is mistaken for irrelevance. Modesty is mistaken for weakness. Integrity is mistaken for self-sabotage. But the Stoic lives for neither the crowd nor the algorithm. He does not outsource his sense of worth. He trains himself in solitude, acts without needing a spotlight, and moves with a calm that only comes from knowing who he is and who he refuses to become. So what if they don't see your effort? What if they never say thank you? So what if you go to bed tired from giving everything and receive nothing but silence in return? That silence, that void, is your test. Can you walk through it with your head up? Can you fill it with your own voice, your own approval, your own steady breath? The Stoics knew that obscurity is not defeat. It is freedom. When you are unseen, you are unbound. You are free to act according to principle, not pressure. You are free to serve without performing. You are free to be true. And this is where real power grows in the dark, in the unseen, in the daily grind that nobody claps for. The seeds of strength are planted when no one is looking. The roots of virtue grow deepest in the soil of silence. Let others crave the stage. You crave discipline. Let others hunger for attention. You hunger for peace. Let others chase relevance. You chase alignment with what is right. Ask yourself, would I still act with courage if no one ever knew? Would I still do the right thing? If no one ever thanked me, would I still be just? If no reward followed? And if the answer is yes, then you are free. You will walk through this life largely unnoticed. You will build in the shadows. You will repair what no one sees. You will withhold what no one knows you wanted to say. And in doing so, you will forge something rare, a self untouched by vanity. This does not mean you become invisible. It means you stop needing to be visible. The Stoic embraces this reality. He does not seek to be celebrated, only to be consistent. And that, in time, becomes its own quiet legend. So the next time your good deed goes unseen, the next time your effort is overlooked, the next time your courage is ignored, smile because that was your moment, not theirs. Yours, nobody cares. Focus on your life. Act and live it as though every action is witnessed by your highest self, because it is. There is one truth that levels all things. One truth that strips every illusion, humbles every ego, silences every excuse. You are going to die. The Stoics meditated on this, not to inspire fear, but to awaken urgency. Memento mori, remember, death. Not in some abstract poetic way, but vividly, directly, personally. The question is not if, but when. And more urgently, what will you do with what remains? You chase so many things: status, comfort, control, approval. But have you stopped to ask, what of this will matter when your breath shortens? When your time is measured in heartbeats, not calendars? The Stoic does not use death to romanticize life. He uses it to sharpen his vision, to burn away the trivial, to focus his energy like a blade. He does not run from death. He uses it. You fear death because you haven't yet lived. But what if you could die before you die? To die before you die means to let go now. Let go of ego. Let go of distraction. Let go of the idea that life begins later, after the money, after the validation, after the perfect conditions. To die before you die means to kill the part of you that waits. The part that postpones action. The part that says, not yet. Tomorrow. Later. There is no later. There is only now. Only this day. This hour. This breath. So take it. Use it. Honor it. What if today was your last? Would you still waste it? Scrolling, complaining, comparing? Would you still silence your voice, betray your values, avoid your purpose? Or would you rise not for drama, not for show, but for truth? You don't need a near-death experience to start living. You need a near-death awareness carried with you every day, not as fear, but as fuel. The Stoics wrote their journals as though they were their final words. They walked the streets. Aware they might not return, they forgave quickly. They spoke clearly. They loved fully. Because there was no guarantee of tomorrow, you have no guarantee either. So stop waiting. Say what needs to be said. Cut what needs to be cut. Begin what needs to begin. End what needs to end. Live now, not recklessly, but relentlessly. Not anxiously, but intentionally. There is no one coming to save you. There is no better moment. There is only this die before you die, and you will never be ruled by fear again. You will walk through life lighter, fiercer, kinder, clearer, because nothing can be taken from the one who has already let go. This is the final Stoic lesson, the ultimate one, not just how to live, but how to prepare for the end. And in preparing for the end, to begin living truly for the first time, nobody cares. Focus on your life, and live it like it's the only one you'll ever get, because it is.